So, hi everybody, welcome to our chapter 16 of our vBook. I'm Robin Retallick from the Law of Attraction Club, and once a week we do these summary sessions on Sunday here as a prelude to the Saturday session, which is a longer one in which we go into these subjects in more detail, and of course we provide time for question and answer. So we'd love to have you come along on Saturday and ask your questions. Feel free to do that, and of course we'll be in touch with you. So here's the summary, and I'm over to Tara's words here. Hi everybody, I'm Robin Retallick, and it's the Law of Attraction Club on the web at theloaclub.com. Every week we do a short summary here on Sundays of what we're going to be doing in the longer version on Saturday, and when Saturday of course has question and answer, and it's there for you to be able to come along and ask your questions. We'll be telling you more about that of course during the week here. So without any more ado here, I'm going to pass over to Tara, and the subject is, does God exist, or are there extraterrestrials? And we'll answer both of those questions. So here we go. When this one was just beginning to learn about the law of attraction, he heard us describe beliefs as simply habits of thought. Oh no, he thought, that's not right. There are some things I just know to be true. Well, we understand how you can feel that way because many of your choices do not seem like choices. They just seem like discoveries of the way things actually are. Of course, those discoveries are really belief choices. And once you make them, a matching version of the world wraps itself around you, and that in turn supports your belief and reinforces it. These discoveries become your story. And let us assure you up front here that we are not in any way wanting to challenge your story. We are intersecting with you here in response to your desire to create more joy in your life. But as we respond to your questions, we've learned that for many of you, it's much easier for you to put all the puzzle pieces together if you understand what lies beneath it all. And so as we talk about the foundation on which everything is built, some of you may feel that indeed we are challenging your beliefs, even your so-called core beliefs. Well, we encourage you to be easy about all of this. As we progress, you will hopefully see that we are going to reaffirm that the world you create, the story you have chosen, is real. At least it's as real as the physical you is real. By law of attraction, it has to be. It's just that it is your story. And if there are any pieces of it that are not what you want, we encourage you to begin to see that you can change those pieces. As always, take from all of this that which feels good and leave the rest. Nothing is more important than feeling good. Your feelings are your infallible guide to what is true for you. So let us begin here. We have talked many times with you about these things we call absolutes. What do we mean when we say something is absolute? We mean it is something you are not at choice about. So as an exercise here, think right now about what things, physical or non-physical, you might put in the category of being not a choice. For example, can you affect your future? Are time and gravity choices? Is living on Earth a choice? Can you change where or when you were born? Is death itself a choice? Is what happens after death a choice? Well, actually, there are only two absolutes. You are an always connected part of the collective consciousness of all that is. And the law of attraction is the organizing principle of everything. So apart from 1 and 2, you are at choice about all things. So the correct answer to all those previous questions is yes. Now, we are not suggesting that any of these are high on the list of things you would want to change. We're just using these as what you might view as radical examples here to make a point. We want you to understand your role in the definition of your world and the power you have to change it. So now let's look at the types of questions you ask. Some are about the fundamental nature of things, and we are delighted to expound at length on these questions about all things absolute. Some are about the shape of your creation, and those cannot be answered by us or anybody else. Only you can answer them because it's your story. In some, there are elements of both, and for those we would say, it depends. So let's look at the two questions we posed up front as an illustration of what we mean. In the case of does God exist, it depends on what you mean by God. If you mean, is there an entity of some sort out there somewhere that has created everything? From an absolute sense, no. You are the creator of your world, and by world we mean both physical and non-physical aspects of it. Is there some entity that is judging you in some way? From an absolute sense, no. Right and wrong, good and evil are human concepts. Is there an entity that has the power to assert things into your experience? From an absolute sense, no. By law of attraction, you alone do that by your beliefs and expectations. We do not much use the term God because in a room full of people there's one of those charged words that causes vibrations to scatter all over the place. And yet in truth we talk about the concept of God all the time. You all have an inherent sense of your spirituality because that is your essential nature. But when you try to describe that which you call God, you are of course extrapolating from a physical world. And the more detailed your story gets, the more you diverge from the elegant simplicity of all that is, the collective consciousness of which you are an inseparable and wholly equal part. In the non-physical, there are no shapes and dimensions, there are no hierarchies, there is no time or place, and there are no borders or boundaries. There is only pure positive energy. And the only reason we add the word positive here is that we want you to know that there's nothing negative in any of this. As you first had an intention, so you formed yourself out of this swirl of energy. Then you made choices and you formed some more. And so it went on until here you are playing this game. Even as our intentions create us, your intentions created you, and they create you now. Here you are, and this is your story. In that story, if you have chosen to believe in a God of a particular character, perhaps holy and sacred, all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving, then that will be your experience. It will be true for you. If you believe that God has a purpose for you here, then finding what that is and fulfilling it will be your path. If you choose to believe in guardian angels, then they will likewise form a part of your non-physical world. If you choose to believe in a devil and sin and evil doing, then that will also inform the shape of your human journey. In the end, it matters not what you have chosen to believe. If it is bringing you joy, you have made a good choice. Otherwise, choose again. So are there extraterrestrials? Was the assassination of President Kennedy a conspiracy? Was the last earthquake in California the big one? When in conception to birth process does human life begin? Do babies create their own reality? Are you affected by your star sign and the alignment of the planets? Who will win the next election? Are there past lives? Does the human body have 7 or 9 or 99 chakras? Is the Earth 7,000 or 4.54 billion years old? Is there a soulmate out there for you? Is there karma? Will there ever be peace on Earth? Well, it's your story, so you will have to tell us. There is nothing absolute in any of this. You see, you have already decided what is certain and what is possible and impossible, probable and improbable. You have built a complex tapestry of expectations which defines the world that wraps around you second by second. There is nothing solid or absolute about that world. You are creating it on the fly. Nothing exists there except that which lies within your possibility boundaries. If you do not know something, it is unknowable. It simply does not exist because what you know defines everything. Of course, within those boundaries in this game of yours, you are mixing it up with matching versions of other conscious entities like you. And so you will make those so-called discoveries. For example, the next time you read, "Studies have shown," and you choose to believe those studies, recognize what it is that you are actually doing. By making that choice, you are simply filling in some of the details in that world of yours. The good news here is none of these choices of yours are cast in stone. There is no choice you ever made that cannot be changed. Choice is your middle name. So we invite you right here and now to journey within. If you can, just allow yourself to accept the enormity of what we have been describing here. Allow yourself to step through that doorway in your mind into a place of knowing who you are. You are God in every sense of the word. In that place there is peace and power, fun and freedom, connection and connectedness. It is like stepping into a truly familiar place you have always known. But it is also like you are seeing it clearly now for the first time. Welcome home. So here we are. There's the summary of our session on this coming Saturday, and we look forward, of course, to having you there and answering your questions. So come along, and if you want to get onto our calendar, that's the calendar listed there, www.theloaclub.com/events. If you want to get to our blog and see more about all of this, including these vBook chapters, then go to www.theloaclub.com/blog. And if you like, while you're there, you can pick up by filling in that form a copy of that powerful letting go process. And you, of course, get invites to our free weekly Q&A calls and to these hangouts on air. And part of our mission here in this community is to engage with you, not just to answer questions, but to actually get down in there in the trenches with you and see if we can help you make some changes. And so we have two phenomenally successful programs that run over 12 months. One is Create Your Life, as we've been talking about here today. And the other is channeling, one of those weird things that Robin, as an engineer here, thought he would never do. And now does, of course. And the Living with Source is the next one off the rank. Living with Source begins July 1. And so we'll be getting to you with more information about that. So that's it for our summary. As I said, we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thanks for being with us, and bye for now.